Yo, what is up guys? It's me exactly, back bringing some more daily NBA news and highlights. As always, you guys are the real MVPs to come back each and every single day. Can't thank you enough. And also, if you're new here, then you too are greatly appreciated. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell as well so you can stay up to date with everything that's going on in the NBA. But now, let's just take a look at everything that is going on in the NBA. But first, a quick word about this video sponsor, athleticcase.com. Basketball, baseball, football, or soccer, no matter what the sport, you guys can now rock your favorite player on the back of your phone. Use the promo code ZACHLEE for 10% off your order. Links are in the description box below. First off, we have to talk about LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And there's a few things to mention here. As you all know by now, the Cleveland Cavaliers finished their series with the Toronto Raptors yesterday, a 4-game sweep, and the last game wasn't even close, which is kind of disappointing since you would think with their pride on the line that the Raptors would go in and give it their all yesterday, but that just wasn't the case. No matter, we will have to talk about them in a little bit. First off, we have to talk about something that reportedly happened in this game during the fourth quarter for the Cavs. As around the 7-minute mark, when the Cavs were up 30 on Toronto, Tyronn Lue decided that it's time to get LeBron James out of the game. So he called over to Rodney Hood to come and replace LeBron, and this is where it gets crazy. Because according to reports, Rodney Hood refused to enter the game. Now, when I first heard this, I didn't think too much of it. I thought maybe Rodney Hood was battling some type of injury, some type of low-key minor injury, because we all know the guy is always injured, and that's why he didn't want to come into the game. So yeah, I wasn't putting too much stock into this. I didn't feel any real emotion when I saw this headline. But then I read a little more into it. Now I'm just like, are you serious? All right, so the reason Rodney Hood didn't enter the game in the fourth quarter when he was told to enter the game in the fourth quarter is because he lost his spot in the rotation to Cedi Osman for the rest of the game. Look, we all know that Rodney Hood has been playing trash for the Cleveland Cavaliers in the playoffs, and kind of ever since he was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, but especially in this series against Toronto. And with that in mind, Tyronn Lue decided, you know what, I'm gonna try something else. Osman, you're in. Hood, you're out. That was the rotation change, and it kind of worked. Cavs won yesterday, even though they won the other 3 games as well, but still. The fact is, Rodney Hood was so butthurt by the fact that he lost his minutes to Cedi Osman that he refused to go in the game during the fourth quarter when he was told to go in the game. According to the Athletics, Jason Lloyd, Cavaliers coach Tyronn Lue attempted to substitute Hood in for LeBron with a 30-point lead and 7 minutes 38 seconds remaining to play. However, the fourth-year player refused to enter the game, angering his teammate, and one of his teammates was quoted saying this to Hood afterwards: "This is the playoffs. We're trying to win a championship. This isn't about you." And now, also according to reports, the Cavs GM is going to have a meeting with Hood so he can try and explain why he refused to play, and Hood could get suspended for a game depending on his answer. I also want to hear Rodney Hood's excuse as to why he refused to check into the game, because if he refused to check into the game because he's been playing like cheek throughout this series, so they decided to give his minutes to someone else, maybe they play better, then there needs to be some more type of severe punishment for Rodney Hood than just a 1-game suspension without pay. I mean, he has to forfeit the rest of the money he will make this season or something, because that is one of the most ridiculous and absurd things that I have ever heard of. Rodney Hood was a combined 1 of 9 from the field for the first 3 games of the series and wasn't doing anything else on the defense, wasn't hustling, wasn't giving effort, wasn't doing anything to deserve playing time. So of course they're going to give his minutes to someone else since he's struggling so badly. When he was on the court, he was the worst, and he's gonna get an attitude because they decide to look somewhere else for some production? LeBron, when you saw Rodney Hood refusing to come into the game for you with 7 minutes left after all the work you done put in that game, I don't think LeBron had come out for a single minute up until that point in the game. You should have called a timeout, walked over to Rodney Hood, gave him 1 clean good smack upside the head, because clearly he's not thinking straight, and maybe a good blow to the head will knock something back into place in his cranium that needs to be knocked back into place. Anyways, moving on. LeBron James has been challenged by Enes Kanter to prove that he is really the king of New York by coming and playing for the New York Knicks.
Hey, so people keep debating about who is the king of New York. Okay, who is the really king of New York? Hey, LeBron. Yes, you really want to be king of New York? Come and prove it. I'll see you July 1st, brother. Good luck.
This is so strange coming from Enes Kanter. We all know the history that LeBron James and Kanter have had throughout this season. Kanter tried to take multiple shots at LeBron James, including calling him princess, queen, whatever he says LeBron likes to call himself.
I'll tell you one thing, this team is really special. And you ain't coming to my house playing that water bottle flip game again. You know what I mean? I don't care who you are, king, what do you call yourself, king, queen, princess, whatever you are. You know what, we're gonna fight.
You know, LeBron seemingly isn't too big of a fan of Kanter himself.
I understand, and I'm gonna quote it. You can call yourself king, queen, princess, wherever.
That's corny. He caught what? What does it say it again?
You can call yourself king, queen, princess. You're not gonna punk us.
Well, I'm the king, my wife is the queen, and my daughter is the princess. So we got all three covered.
What happened with you and Enes and Frank on that play, though?
Nothing.
Make a dinner reservation?
Never that. You know, nothing. I mean, we got the win. That's. I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna say that guy's name again. Anyways, next question, please.
So Kanter trying to get LeBron to come play for the Knicks, come play on the same team as him, it doesn't feel right. Not to mention, the Knicks still have Joakim Noah on their roster. And if you guys remember from back when Joakim Noah was a relevant player in the NBA, him and LeBron did not get along at all. There was a lot of hate between those two players, even though I feel like most of the hate was on Noah's side.
Rhett, anything that you said about Cleveland?
Not at all. You like it? You think Cleveland's cool? I mean, I never heard anybody say I'm going to Cleveland on vacation. I mean, what's so good about Cleveland?
Have you ever been booed as much in your life?
Yeah.
When did you boo more than this?
I was booed a lot. My whole life I've been booed. College, I was getting booed a lot. Boston, they don't like me over there. And they don't like me over here either. It's okay. I have my friends, I don't care.
But if you have a team with Noah and Kanter on it, and that team is trying to go after LeBron James, it's hard to imagine LeBron signing up to play with those guys. And finally, I just want to say that even though LeBron does claim himself to be the king of New York, I think it has more to do with the fact that he dominates the Knicks every time he plays them in the Garden. He puts on a show every time he goes to New York. So he doesn't even have to play for the Knicks to prove that he is the king of New York. But you know, I could be wrong here. Maybe in some universe, LeBron James does sign with the New York Knicks because crazier things have happened. So the Toronto Raptors, of course, got swept once again. The third straight year they have been eliminated by LeBron James, and the second year in a row that has been in a sweep. But of course, this time was much worse than any other time, since the Raptors had the #1 seed in the East, almost won 60 games during the regular season, and were all around supposed to be a much better team than they were last year, and the Cavs were supposed to be much worse than they were last year since they didn't have Kyrie. And a lot of NBA fans, myself included, thought this could be the year that they were at least able to challenge LeBron, take him to a nice close 7-game series, if not finally get past LeBron James, but it didn't turn out like that. And for some reason, I feel extremely bad for the Raptors. Like, you would think I will find it funny that they wound up getting swept and be making jokes. No, I feel terrible for the Raptors, the organization, the fans, the players, everyone that has anything to do with the Toronto Raptors. I just feel so bad, and I feel even worse after seeing the post-game interview of Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan yesterday. Like, this was one of the saddest things that I have ever had to see. And for DeMar DeRozan, we all remember how last year after they got swept, how he said if we had LeBron, we would have won too.
If we had LeBron on our team too, we would have won.
Well, it didn't get any better this year, as it seems like maybe he's just given up, as he says the Cavs might just have their number and there's really nothing they can do about that.
You know, last 3 years have been rough for us, you know, competing against this team. Maybe they just got our number. Things just don't go right for us. Whatever it is, it could be a lot of things, you know. All I know is, you know, last 3 years they have been a reason why we haven't advanced. So, you know, whatever that is, I couldn't sit up here and tell you one specific thing.
Oh, this isn't good at all, people. This isn't good at all. Did you guys see the look on Kyle Lowry's face? I mean, you couldn't even see the look on Kyle Lowry's face, but do you see the demeanor of Kyle Lowry? That looked like a broken man. And I'm not saying that to be funny. It's true. He looked broken. His hat was covering his eyes. He was trying to pretend to read the stat sheet so they wouldn't see him maybe crying under his hat. A few words he spoke sound pretty broken, like he was struggling to keep it together in that post-game interview. I know he went to his car or wherever it was he had to go and just bawled his eyes out after this thing because it's painful to see. LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers have utterly crushed the Toronto Raptors spirits. He crushed the Raptors competitive spirit. He put their fire out. And now I seriously think it's time for the Raptors to make some big moves this offseason because I don't think they can bring the same team back next year. So the Detroit Pistons have officially fired Stan Van Gundy. And first and foremost, I have to say something because this is very personal to me since I'm a Pistons fan, and since I'm a Pistons fan, I'm happy and both kind of sad at the same time because Stan Van Gundy is a good guy. He's a really good guy. He's extremely nice. I like him personally as a person. I like Stan Van Gundy, so it sucks to see someone like him be out of a job to get fired like this. But at the same time, it just wasn't working out, so I'm extremely excited about this too. Alright, so what was originally rumored to have happened was Stan Van Gundy was going to be accepting a lesser role with the Detroit Pistons. They were going to ask him to step down from his front office job and just accept a coaching job. That was the original plan, I believe. However, yesterday Tom Gores held a meeting with Stan Van Gundy, and next thing you know, not only has he stepped down from being the president of basketball operations, but he's also no longer the coach. And when this news broke, originally people thought it was because Stan Van Gundy didn't want to let go of his power in the front office. He refused to let go, so the Pistons just straight up fired him. But that's not true at all, as according to Stan Van Gundy himself, the owner just decided that they completely needed to part ways with Stan Van Gundy. Tom Gores was looking to make changes, and I was willing to make pretty significant changes, but even that wasn't going to be enough. Tom decided at the end of the day that he needed to change the structure and the leadership. What it came down to is this: I was perfectly willing to go into one role, to give up front office and just go into coaching. I didn't fight to hang on to that at all. I was more than willing to just move into coaching. What it really comes down to is 37 and 39 wins and missing the playoffs twice. You can talk about all the other things, but if we're in the playoffs, we're not doing any of this and we're moving on. We just didn't win enough games. Dang, Tom Gores called SVG into his office and it was like, take a seat, Stan. You know how we said that if you step down from your job as president of basketball operations, you can still stay on as a coach, right? Well, you only won 37 and 39 games, Stan. So this just isn't going to work out at all. Been a pleasure. That's tough, but as a Pistons fan, I am extremely excited to see what direction they are going to head in next. And the last bit of news we have to cover today is the Philadelphia 76ers staying alive by beating the Celtics in Game 4 to force a Game 5 back in Boston. And it was behind a heroic performance by TJ McConnell, who was promoted to the starting lineup in place of Robert Covington. McConnell with 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists in the game. And also in this game, there was a bit of an exchange between Joel Embiid and Terry Rozier. And after the game, Joel Embiid made a joke saying that even if he and Rozier were to fight, Rozier would be too short to actually punch him.
I was they got called for offensive foul, and I was trying to get the ball to keep the game flowing because I felt like we had an advantage and we were on the run. So I just wanted to keep it going and trying to get the ball, and he kind of kept the ball away from me and tried to punch me twice, but too bad he's so short that he couldn't get to my face. You know, I didn't understand why it was a double technical, because I was just trying to get the ball and it was the one trying to swing.
Man, see, I like this right here a lot. The trash talking, the fighting, the beef. It's laying an even more solid foundation for the Sixers vs Celtics rivalry that we'll be seeing for many more years. Anyways, that does it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to smack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more daily NBA videos. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see all of you right back here tomorrow. But until then, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace.